I'm Rinky Sharma. I'm from Delhi, India. I've been teaching for 8 years now. Currently, I'm working as a science subject expert for Sitare Foundation, which is an NGO. And since my journey as a teacher, I've taught students from primary wing till high school now. So I would say I'm a teacher by accident. I had no earlier plans of becoming a teacher as such, but when I got into the course of becoming a teacher, I really enjoyed the whole process. And when I actually got into the class, I just loved talking to the students. The feeling of talking to the students, their energy is so nice that I just wanted to continue with this profession. And for this 8 years of my experience, I've never regretted a day teaching in the classroom and being with my students. So this nomination came as a surprise for me. My friend and my colleague nominated me for this award. So it was very encouraging that I've been recognized for my contribution and being awarded as a resilient teacher. And I also believe that as a teacher, resilience is a very important quality, and every teacher acquires it along the way. We had been using technology in our classroom from the very beginning, but during the pandemic time specifically, there was no other option but to resort to technology because we were not teaching physically in the classroom. In my current organization, we are working in a model which is very different from a traditional school. So we are supposed to teach students remotely. So we cannot, we totally depend on technology for that because our students have to use different tools, devices to be able to learn during the class. So this is how our students have been completely dependent on technology. Well, as you know that the age we live in, all the things that we do are directly or indirectly dependent on technology. And practically speaking, to keep up with the pace of the world, it's very important that the students acquire these advanced skills. Even in India, if I speak specifically of the case around us, even new government programs have been launched that specifically focus on encouraging students to use technology and make their own new things. So we have now budding entrepreneurs, coders that are coming up in our country because the whole environment is being created such that we are able to keep up with the pace of the world. I would like to answer that by giving you an example. I was working in a project with my students, and my student had to make a solar power enabled mobile charger. So we had to start from the scratch, and that we were struggling initially. We were partnered with some schools of different countries, but they also backed out after a certain time. But we kept on working in that direction. We researched a lot. We got to talk to different people, and we struggled our way through. But just because we did not give up and we kept learning from our failures, we were able to achieve our goals. So technology keeps on changing. It's very vast, but if you keep on updating yourself, upscaling yourselves, then you always will have a way with it. So this is how we have been implementing it with our students also, not just by digging into the books, but by learning technologically more practically. Yeah, well, the students nowadays, they're very impatient. They need fast results. They might also get disappointed easily these days. So resilience is not very common in the students these days. So what as a teacher, I or my peers would do is that firstly, we try to make our students feel emotionally safe so that they at least open up to us. They need to have a comfort with us so that they come and speak to us of the struggles that they're having. For instance, if they feel like they have been failing at something, then first thing is that they should be able to come to us and tell us their problems. Secondly, as a teacher, we need to be available to our students. Thirdly, we need to make them feel confident that they can rebuild or rework on the task at hand. And this is how they also become resilient with time. When the students achieve their targets more efficiently and they feel comfortable in approaching me, and I can see that in the quality of the work they do, and also how they interact with their classmates or their peers. If they're not resilient enough, they would always be very impatient and do not feel very secure. And basically, when I deal with teenagers, this is a very common problem. But with constant practice, providing them a safe, nurturing environment, this is how I've seen the changes coming to them. They have come up with better performances in their assessments, examination, and also how they think about a problem at hand. So that is how I've seen changes in them. While teaching physics specifically, I had to teach a concept where students had to make graphs. So I was teaching motion and they have to make certain graphs related to speed and velocity. Because I'm teaching remotely, I cannot draw graphs physically in the chalkboards. So I had to look for options where I could do the same. So I looked through and searched on the web and got to know of a tool that would enable me to do the same. So through that, I was able to deliver my lecture. I practiced day in and out. And then finally, when I delivered the lesson, I was able to meet my objectives. Resilience is actually definitely a continuous, acquiring resilience is a continuous process, definitely. And if I do want to continue using technology in my teaching, I love to go through various useful videos on YouTube and use some local apps that have teaching related technological links or tools mentioned in them. Also, my peers come in very handy and helpful. We exchange information, we learn from each other, and this is how we keep growing. So this actually mutually helps us meet our objectives and definitely help the students too. We keep aside our personal, personal gain here, but collectively we work as a team and keep learning through the process how different tools or devices can help us to achieve our teaching learning goals, and mutually we grow together.